Okay, we are live. Hello, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Friday Night WrestleCast, the special Tuesday night edition. We're kicking it live on Tuesday because we got ourselves a double pack of action for the AEW this week for the Grand Slam, right? The Grand Slam, Dynamite and Rampage. We're going to be here to talk about the predictions for these matches. But before we get into all that, I'd like to introduce my great co-host, the one and only Dana Abercrombie. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited for this because I'm in Nueva York and Queens is just a train ride away. Yay!
I think it's really cool that they're gonna do this at the Arthur Ashe Stadium. It looks very, very nice. It never occurred to me to have them do these shows at a tennis stadium, but it looks badass. I'm actually really looking forward to that. Before we get into, I wanted to talk about All Out and just real quickly. But before we do that, I believe there was an announcement that you wanted to make.
I do. We have an announcement. Basically, WWE and A&E sent over these. Oh Lord, if you can see these DVDs. This is basically their biography legends, the WWE, Volume 1 and Volume 2. They just released today. They are available, and we have stories from Stone Cold Steve Austin, Roddy Piper, Macho Man Randy Savage, Booker T, Shawn Michaels, Ultimate Warrior, Mick Foley, and Bret Hart. So it's the same program that we saw over on A&E. If you watch the WWE Legends, where it's kind of like the sanitized version of dark-ish side of the ring, but these just released. So if you're interested, pick up your copy today or tomorrow, whatever time zone you're in.
Sounds great. Oh man, so that's really cool. And thanks for sharing that. And let's go in real quickly before we get into our predictions for Grand Slam. I just wanted to ask you, Dana, what was your favorite thing about All Out? Because I know that we didn't do a prediction show.
I know we didn't do a prediction show because you was not available. You was busy making excuses.
I honestly, for all of you watching or listening, whatever, I was at Boston Fan Expo that weekend.
He was busy mingling and having a good time and eating good food, and I'm sitting here staring at him hungry, waiting for All Out, trying to reach him. He's like, no, he put me on mute. Then he put me on silent. Then he just refused to answer my calls. But then he uploaded a bunch of video with him just taking artwork and being with people and being happy. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever.
Some of that's true. Maybe most of it true. Maybe all of it. I don't know. But it definitely was. It definitely was a fun time. We will do a prediction show for All Out next year. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. No matter what. If this whole place gets nuked, if the whole world gets nuked, I will be doing this in the afterworld. It's gonna happen. So yeah, I don't know what I just said there, but anyway, moving on. All Out. I feel like I sidetracked there.
No, you didn't. You go on. All Out thoughts.
All out thoughts. Okay. Did you give your thoughts, like your favorite match, your favorite moment, whatever?
Well, obviously, the big ones was Bryan Danielson. There was the Adam Cole, baby. And then the thing about Adam Cole was the fact that we really didn't know what that 100%, because we knew that there was negotiations and Vince McMahon and he was talking to him, and I'm like, he's gonna resign. I just feel that he maybe just end up resigning, but to actually see him. The fact that AEW did a double, what would you call it? A double appearance, a double surprise, because remember it was Bryan Danielson, and then it was Adam Cole, and then Bryan Danielson. And then, of course, obviously, we had CM Punk's first match, which was really just great. And, once he started getting into the rhythm, it was superb. Like, I really enjoyed it. But for me, the main moment of that night was that cage match between the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers. Ooh, I think that was probably the best match of the year.
I don't know if it's the best match of the year, but definitely the match of the night, and it was a big part. Taking aside the big, reveals of Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson, that match stole the show, and what a satisfying outcome. Because I'll tell you, all respect to the Young Bucks, they're probably the greatest tag team in the world, but good Lord, I was tired of their act, and I was waiting for that comeuppance to happen. So maybe I want to give them a little bit of credit for being such good heels that it made it that much satisfying when they finally lost. I was just kind of questioning, like, are these guys ever going to lose? When the heck is it going to happen? Because there's always these distractions and everything. And it finally happened, and it's like, good for the Lucha Brothers. They're an amazing tag team together. They're gonna knock it dead as far as being tag champions. So that was maybe like one of the underappreciated moments of the night was that. But no, absolutely. Like when Adam Cole came out, I was like, in my head, I'm thinking he's gonna join them. He's gonna join the Elite. He has to be joining the Elite. This can't be it. And I was like, that'd be cool if he came as a babyface. And then, he super kicked Jungle Boy, and was like, yeah, I think this is a better fit for him that he, be part of the Elite. I thought that was the right move, and I was like, okay, here we go. We've got to have Bryan Danielson. We got to have him, and then you start to hear the fight. I'm like, yes, like I was so jacked. I was, it was just so like I had just watched this long pay-per-view, and it woke me up. It just completely woke me up, and it's like, holy shit, we've got Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson at the same, like that. They're absolutely mad to do that, but that's what they did. And I'm telling you, like, I'm just so excited for AEW. I'm so excited for wrestling in general. Credit to WWE. They've been. I would say that they've been kind of upping their game a little bit.
Yep, Raw was watchable.
Yeah, it was. It was a big surprise. So, I think this is good. The wrestling fans win when we get things like this. So, kudos to everyone. But yeah, all out, great pay-per-view. If you haven't watched it yet, Wendy, go and watch it. Yes, let's get on to what we're here for. That is the predictions for the Grand Slam.
Oh.
And we're going to start with Dynamite, which is tomorrow, September 22nd. Let's go through this right now. First match, we got Brian Pillman Jr. against MJF in a standard singles match. Dana, who you got?
Oh, you know what? And Wendy says that she likes Jungle Boy, by the way.
Jungle Boy is awesome. He's definitely one of those up-and-comers at AEW, non-WWE types that they're putting up. So, yeah, he's a homegrown talent. So much promise, so much to look forward to with him. So, yeah, great pick. Sorry, Dana, go ahead.
So basically, in regards to MJF and Brian Pillman, this is really good, and I know a lot of people are upset-ish about how MJF has been doing his promos with Brian Pillman. Brian Pillman Jr., unless he's talking to a ghost. But we all know the history of Brian Pillman. And the fact that he keeps, invoking his father's name and just calling everyone a bunch of addicts was like, what the fudge cookie? But, if you're looking at the history of wrestling, this is what they did in the Attitude Era. And even on like WCW, I mean, we all know the Scott Hall, debacles that we had to sit through. But for this one, I genuinely feel, and I hope, Brian Pillman is someone who has a lot of momentum, and they're trying to push him. I kind of wish he was more like his father in the sense of that charisma and that just pure energy. But Brian Pillman Jr. is who he is, and I think that he needs to win this match in order to, well, because of everything that, MJF set it up so great for the fans to want him to lose, that I think that the best thing for this outcome is for him to lose. So I would like to see Brian Pillman Jr. win, and then the whole family just come out and literally kick MJF's behind. Just stomp him.
MJF, definitely a classic jerk as far as the chemicals and everything. He seems to be like an R-rated version of The Miz when it comes to trash talking. Very juvenile, but he's so good at it. I give him credit. He's very good at it. One of the best talkers. He's just so juvenile. Like he can stand to be a little bit more creative without going to that level. But
he is like 25, technically, I think.
He's 25
so young.
24. He's wicked young. Oh yeah.
Oh wow, you turned really Bostonier.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, he is wicked young.
Come on.
Oh my God, no.
Anyway, yes, no, yeah, he's very young, and he's only going to get better. Another youngster, Brian Pillman Jr. I'll say this about Brian Pillman Jr. I really like the look, the whole '80s, look and everything. Got the mullet going, and the tiger skin stuff and everything. It's a cool look. I want to like him. I want to pull for him. But he has a little Curtis Axel in him as far as something's missing. And maybe it's unfair that he's going to be compared to his father, who, as you said, had a boatload of charisma. That anytime he spoke, you listen.
He made you believe. Like that whole situation with the house, with Austin, granted I was a kid, but my goodness, you couldn't tell me that wasn't real. He sold it.
He sold that thing like it was life and death. And it was just like how he was able to pull that off, big credit to him. And the thing with Pillman Jr. is that, he's not his father. He's his own guy. And he seems like definitely like a very more like he's more of a gentle soul. But he brings out he's really trying to bring out that passion, that fire that his father has. I don't know if it quite comes out the same, but it's like I see him trying, and I want him to succeed. I want him to do better. I want him to win this match. I just don't see it happening because the way that MJF has been built up, that he's been feuding with Chris Jericho, he's feuded with Cody Rhodes, he's feuded with top-level guys, and in a lot of times beat them, granted through nefarious ways, but he's done it. And Brian Pillman Jr. is really more of a lower card, mid card act that they're trying to build up. And I think it's good that at the very least that he maybe makes it close and comes close to beating MJF. I want him to beat MJF. I just don't see it happening. Maybe not now, maybe down the line. But I mean, we'll see where it goes. I would love to be wrong with this. But,
do you see this as like a Darby CM Punk situation where he lost, but he technically put him over? That was a great match.
It could. I could see it being something like this, where like MJF has to cheat to win. That he has to cheat multiple times to win, and as the viewer, you would know that Pillman Jr. could have won it, could have had it, that kind of thing. You don't want it to be a decisive victory for MJF because that does neither of them any good, my opinion. So we'll see where that goes. But I think MJF wins. But yeah.
And Wendy says Brian Pillman Jr. I like him, but makes me miss his father. But I'm glad that he comes into his own. And she also basically agrees with you, saying that MJF is definitely AEW's Miz.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people have made that A lot of people made that comparison, and it's too bad that the two companies can't team to work together, because that would be kind of a dream feud to see those two go at it. But who knows? Who knows what the future holds? Let's go with the next match. We've got, oh God, they're doing this again. Malachi Black versus Cody Rhodes.
Never been so disappointed in my life when I saw Cody with Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, they were really plugging that Go Big Show game show that they have and everything. As soon as I saw Rosario there, I'm like, yeah, that's a typical plug-in. The same thing they did with Shaq when they had Shaq wrestle and they had him go into the ambulance and then he disappeared and they never explained why. They never. It's just like, okay, that's some WWE shit right there. But yeah, Malachi Black versus Cody Rhodes. Please win, Malachi Black. Please win.
But see, what happened is, remember Malachi Black, before Cody went to go film and be a dad, remember his entire family was beaten to a pulp by Malachi.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you kind of want to see Cody come back and honor his entire beaten family. But at the same time, I don't think Cody has that likability yet.
Bingo. I think you just nailed it. I think and this is my beef with Cody Rhodes, is that he's old school to a fault. He goes with very old wrestling tropes with the way he tries to promote his matches, the way he tries to promote himself as a character. Very, very old school. It would be, I see right through it, and it's just like you're trying to make me sympathize for you, Cody, but like you had that long run with the TNA belt. Oh my God, let me try that again. The TNT belt.
I'm dyslexic, so I just now caught you. Like, wait, TNA.
Okay. The TNT belt, and you made it so that you can't contend for the AEW World Championship ever, for reasons I don't know. All these things that make you more sympathetic and likable. It's like bullshit. You were already likable prior, before AEW was. To me, Cody was already likable. Doing his whole thing on the indie scene and everything. It was great to see him come out of the WWE shadow and be successful. I thought he could be a very good babyface, but sometimes he tries too hard. And I think that what happened with this Malachi Black versus Cody Rhodes thing is that you have this good versus evil thing that's a little too much on the nose, that is just off-putting for me. Like, you have Cody wearing all white and everything, and Malachi wearing all black. Like, we're not stupid. We know what imagery you're going with here. It's cheesy. It's corny. I'm not for it. I think that most people should want Cody to win for the reasons that you said, that it would be comeuppance for his family, whatever. But screw that. Screw that. I want Malachi to win. I want Cody to turn heel because he is losing me as a babyface. That's just the way I see it. But I think Cody will win. Dana, you're muted. Do you have anything you want to add?
Yep.
Oh, you're muted again. There we
go. Sorry. Basically, what I wanted to say is this. I don't know. When was the point when I genuinely just disliked Cody Rhodes, the wrestler, and didn't want to see his face? And like, even though he's been gone for so long, I was like, oh, he's back. Oh. Because like, you look at the story of Cody Rhodes, and it's admirable what he was able to do. I mean, he didn't create AEW, but the whole thing with the list and actually wanting to go and be an independent wrestler, and what he was able to do with his career and take his career in his own hands. And I was right there. I remember watching the first All Out, and I was like, yes. And I was really proud and happy. But I don't know how to explain it. His period and it's not the fact that he was in AEW, it was the fact that he was ahead. and it kind of felt Triple H-ish. It felt Vince McMahon-ish. And even when you look at, say, Jericho, yes, you would say he was one of the originals because they needed him in order to get that name. But for some reason, he seemed to translate better and didn't seem to oversaturate his appearance. But with Cody, he did. So for this run, I do hope that he doesn't oversaturate and stays, not necessarily stays too long, but creates these matches where, it's I don't know how to fully explain, but create these matches where he's kind of the main of everything. You know what I mean? Like when he held the belt, it kind of seemed like anyone who wanted to come to AEW, you had to job to him. You look at Eddie Kingston, you look at all of the different other people that came through, and they were able to break away from that. But for such a long time, he had a stronghold over that. It was like, who's going to job to Cody next? So I just hope that it doesn't become one of those things. I just hope that this is a new.
I thought like Cody's, they tried to replicate John Cena's Open, USA Open Challenge thing.
Mm-hmm.
Cody tried to replicate that with the TNT belt, but it really did not come through the same way. Like I felt like what Cena's thing was like, it was kind of cool, kind of endearing. It was something fresh because you're always getting fresh matchups and stuff like that. You were getting that with Cody, but with Cody was just like, you always had Arn Anderson in his corner, like, oh, you're great, you're the best, all this other stuff. And it's like, you never really felt like Cody had a chance of losing. And even times when he should have lost, he won, like against
Lance Archer.
Yeah, Lance Archer should have won.
What happened to him? Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting involved with Mox.
Good, but how long did it take for him to kind of recreate a career?
They're stopping and starting his push. It's a little frustrating. It's almost Braun Strowman-esque in that regard.
Brian Cage-ish. I don't even know where Brian Cage is anymore. Is he still there?
He's still around. I think you have to tune into Dark to watch him, but
okay, I got him in the dark.
Yeah, but with Cody, it's like, but you're absolutely right with Cody is that very Triple H is like having to have these grand entrances, drawn out grand entrances and everything, has to be the main event, has to win a lot, or if anyone's debuting, he's the first one that gets attacked. It's always him, and it's just like, okay, like he's the measuring stick or something. And, Cody's great, but like, I feel like, I don't know, there needs to be a change with him. Like, I think that, like, remember when he went away for a bit last year to film the game show that he was doing, and he came back with dark hair, and everyone thought, okay, here comes the heel turn. And then he went on with this big babyface promo, like, I'm not going to turn heel. I'm always with you guys, everything. And I was just like, oh, crap. Not this. Like, I hope that he's swerving us and that he's really going to turn heel. And he didn't. Like, I don't like people to turn heel just for the sake of turning heel. But I just think that with Cody, like, we need something different. So that's my long drawn explanation for why I want Malakai Black to win, despite the fact he's already beaten Cody once before. But Cody, storyline-wise, should win, and that is the prediction that I'm going to go with. And I'm assuming you're doing the same, or okay?
Yeah, no, I'm doing the same. I want Malakai Black to win, just because I can't explain it. I find Cody Rhodes to still be insufferable, and I mean that as the character, not the person.
Yeah. Yeah, Malakai's got a very cool character. I'm digging it. I really,
yeah.
He knows how to do like an entrance where it's not overproduced, but it's still like it still captures your attention. So.
But can I throw in something really quickly?
Oh, sure.
Buddy Murphy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. Buddy Murphy's had some very interesting videos on his Twitter that you should check out if you haven't already. There's all these references. Mm-hmm. Between him and between him and Malachi, there's all these references that go back to WWE that if you listen closely, you get the references. It's very awesome. I can't wait till Murphy debuts. I'm sure that he's going to debut. I can't wait for that.
I see something brewing. Oh, and Wendy says Cody would make a good heel.
I agree. I think he'd make an excellent heel. Cody can wear both hats and wear them very well, and that's a credit to him. I just think right now it's time for him to wear the dark hat. It's time for him to go heel, but we'll see when that happens. Let's move on to the tag match: Sting and Darby Allin against FTR.
Father and son.
How do you predict that to turn out?
Oh, I'm still like every time Sting is in a ring, I still say a little prayer, like, "Dear Lord, protect his back, his neck, everything." But I'm happy. Every time that I see him in the ring, he seems happy. And I'm happy that he's happy because it makes for a good match. But I still think that he's limited or he's protected, which is what he needs to be because we don't need him, in a chair. With FTR, I do feel that they need a win. And I say this because Darby, we all know he's being pushed, and as he should be. He's incredible. But right now, I just feel that FTR needs to be like, hey, we still exist. Remember us? Because they came out strong, and then it was kind of a disappointing run. I think even they said it. They were slightly disappointed with how things were going. And I do feel that they need this win. And then, Darby and Sting are two people who at this moment don't need it because I feel Darby is on such a meteoric rise and Sting is Sting. Sting is a legend. Sting was wrestling when we were, not even a thought on this universe. So for me, I have to go with FTR. So, yeah. But I expect this to be a good match. I'm not going to say great because Sting is limited, as he should be. But Darby will just be crazy and coughing, dropping everyone.
Yeah. I think Sting and Darby Allin are going to win, and the reason why I think that is, if you go back to All Out, Darby Allin was CM Punk's first match, in 7 years, and he did the job to CM Punk. Now granted, I would say you can argue that Darby Allin benefited more from that than Punk did, but I feel like Darby Allin's going to be rewarded with a win here with Sting. And I don't think it'll be the end of that program. I think that we're going to see FTR go and attack them again, in like the following week or whatever. And it's just not going to settle things. I know that, Sting and Tully Blanchard, they've been teasing a fight amongst themselves, whatever, like to have a match or something, maybe. I don't know, but I just think that FTR can survive a loss here. They're still a great tag team. They're still going to be in the picture. I'm sure that they'll build up another win at some point, and they'll probably challenge for to get those tag belts back. They're one of the very best tag teams on this planet, and you're right that it's good to remind people just how good they are by having them win against Sting and Darby Allin. I just think that right now the focus is going to be on continuing Darby Allin's rise, because you've already had him lose at All Out. You want to have him recover with a notable win. So I'm going to go with Sting and Darby Allin winning this tag match.
Okay, that's interesting.
We've got a singles match for this is good. Singles match for the AEW Women's World Championship. You got Ruby Soho going on against the defending champion. That's Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. That's also funny.
I'm dyslexic, so I'm like MDM.
MJF. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna let you go first.
I don't want to pick.
Huh?
I don't want to pick because I don't know. I genuinely don't know. This is for the belt.
Yes.
I don't want them to be okay. Look, see, I love them both equally, and I'm very happy for Ruby. I'm very happy for when she came like all out when they were just chanting her name, and she didn't, she really just changed her Twitter handle. She didn't make this huge announcement with like Soho. I mean, we heard the song repeatedly,
Yeah.
but the fact that people were automatically chanting for her just really shows what a wasted opportunity WWE had on their hands. Like this was someone where the fans can get behind. And she even said in the interview that she never had a crowd chant her name before.
Wow.
So yeah, and I'm like, really? That's kind of disheartening. Because she's just that good. And I think that this can be a good match because, Britt Baker we knew was garbage juice when she started. And she is one of the top in AEW, and she's just really good where she can compete. And we know the level of where Ruby Soho is. I just don't want. I don't know in terms of winning. I think that Ruby will lose. Britt Baker will retain, but I'm hoping that they put on such a great match that it doesn't matter. I mean, and plus the fact that you give Ruby the belt now, it feels kind of WWE-ish, like a hot shot thing. It's not something that's well thought out. We know the whole thing with Big E, where he deserved it, but the way how they executed it was poorly. And I just don't see AEW doing that. I feel that they are more planned out in their matches, and I believe that when it comes to creating stars and when creating that big name who you want to hold the belt, they take the long road. So for the moment, I'm gonna have to go with Britt Baker retaining, but great match.
I 100% agree with everything you just said. That these are both excellent, and I and like with WWE, I don't want to be too critical because I
Right.
watch WWE and
We
they
do.
put on some good shows themselves, and they collect so much talent that you can't make them all main event. You can't have them all featured. You can't have them all have the best booking. Some people are going to get lost in the shuffle. The thing is that WWE tends to go with who they find to be the most marketable.
Mm-hmm.
With the women, a lot of times it's going to be like who's the most attractive. It's going to be the most marketable. Now, I mean that's my theory on their thinking process. It shouldn't come to that. It should be about ability and being able to connect with the fans. And the thing with Ruby Soho is what she's proven is that she's so good as a performer and she can connect with the fans, like organically. Like this is someone that we saw that was booked as a very low on the card talent that we knew when she signed with WWE that she was a special talent. And it was just like just seeing now like her get that appreciation is very heartwarming. Like I love it. And you can see that she's feeling the love and everything. And I feel like she has to lose this match because you need the fan. Like we have a good thing with the fans are behind her.
Mm-hmm.
Stay behind her, and that means prolonging the chase for
Mm-hmm.
that. It's too soon to put it on her right now because you put on the belt on her right now, they can be like, oh, see, they signed her right from WWE and hotshot her into the championship. They're not even doing anything with Britt Baker, who is their own homegrown girl or whatever. So I think it's going to be like a hell of a match.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's going to be that little part of me that wants Ruby to win just because, like, she's so likable. But I also think the right thing is to have Britt retain and have Ruby win it down the line. Don't have it happen right away because you risk alienating some people with with hot shotting,
Right.
So timing is everything when it comes to this kind of stuff. So Ruby will get her moment, but in the meantime, just put on a great match. And so we're both in agreement here with Britt Baker retaining, and that's not a bad thing because Britt Baker's excellent, and I've been really impressed with her development. Because I'll tell you, when AEW started, I didn't see what was so special about her, and now we're seeing it, and it's great to see. I love seeing the growth, from the beginning to now. So just excellent. Let's go with the main event. Oh, this is a doozy. The main event of Dynamite, Kenny Omega against Bryan Danielson in a non-title match. If you don't mind, I'd like to start with this one. I think that the fact that – so I think it's good that they didn't make this a title match. This goes into the point that I made about Ruby Soho. Do not take the WWE person and hotshot them into a title match or not necessarily a title match, but to win the title or anything. I feel like Bryan Danielson is one of the very few people that should be able to just beat Kenny Omega clean. I don't think the time. I believe that Hangman Adam Page should be the one to take it off of Kenny Omega whenever he's able to come back to do it. That's the moment that we're all waiting for, that we've waited a long time for. So in the meantime, Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson is a dream match that I was hoping I would be able to see. So glad that we're finally going to get to see it. I'm so excited. I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to sleep. It's just incredible. This is pay-per-view level stuff here. And, people have been hyping up about you all just know Daniel Bryan. You don't know what Bryan Danielson's capable of. He's gonna, pardon my French, he's gonna fuck some shit up with some people with his moves. I'm looking forward to that very aggressive American Dragon level Bryan Danielson. He should win this, considering that's a non-title match, and Kenny Omega will get to retain the belt. And I hope they don't have a rematch just yet, because again, I don't want. I have a feeling that maybe for Full Gear they might have it for the belt, and then Kenny Omega might win that. We'll see how we feel if we do a prediction show for that down the line. But in the meantime, Bryan Danielson should win this match. He's my prediction. How are you going to go with this one, Dana?
I'm muted.
I was muted. Go ahead.
I feel that it kind of feels like a Forbidden Door match in a way. It just really hasn't sunk in that Bryan Danielson is now a part of AEW. So it just feels like, where did this come from? What? I did not see this coming. And, they said earlier that this was because Hangman Page requested time off and he's about to be a dad. And, he wants to do his stuff, which is great. But I don't think it really matters at this point who wins. Solely because, you have this as a non-title match. So they're going to go all out. But I do feel that I just want Bryan Danielson to protect the neck, because he said that, they overprotected him in WWE. But protect your neck, please. But in terms of who would win, I feel that Bryan Danielson would make a bigger impact with him winning, because it shows, look at where I'm at, look at what I can do, and I'm ready to come to AEW to actually play. So I think that this is something that would benefit him the most. Kenny Omega, he's part of the original founders of AEW. He actually has an official title, and he collects, I'm pretty sure, a double paycheck at this point. So I think just he doesn't need to win. Kenny Omega doesn't need it. Bryan Danielson does need it more. So I would love to see him just win and see what happens.
I mean, there's probably very few people that have never heard of Bryan Danielson. But if you haven't, you're gonna, this is gonna be your introduction. just how badass this guy is, and
Mhm.
I just so excited for it. It feels like we're getting to open our presents early, doesn't it? Like this is a match that you would think that they will tease and tease and tease until we get it at like was it like Revolution next year or something like that. But we're
Mhm.
getting in less than 24 hours. This is actually bonkers. So that's your main event for Dynamite.
And also, really quickly, for those who don't know, Bryan Danielson wrote a beautiful, kind of like a goodbye letter to WWE about, because he was there for like what, 5 years, 10 years almost.
It's been more than 10, it was definitely more than 10 years.
Over 10 years. He was
Yeah.
NXT. He got fired. He came back. Yeah. So yeah, it was really beautiful. He thanked McMahon. There was no one who was like angry. There's no animosity or anything. So check that out if you haven't. So I think it was just really, really great.
Absolutely agree. It shows that not everyone that goes to AEW is a bitter ex-employee. Everyone has their own path, and some leave on good terms, some don't. And
Mm-hmm.
with Brian, it's just a matter of like he wanted his own schedule and he wanted to wrestle on his own terms, and they just couldn't quite reach that agreement. And I think it's like no hard feelings in that regard. And I think it's refreshing that that you have that. He's just a class act all through and through. So yeah, definitely check out his article. When you can.
Yeah,
Let's
so
move on to Rampage, which is going to be this coming Friday, I believe. So it's very nice of them to give everyone that day in between to kind of catch our breath, because we've got
4 hours.
6 more matches, and this is going to be a 2-hour show or a 1
This
hour
is a 2 hour show. No, this is
It's
2. That's why everybody's like, oh my God. And it's going to be attended, estimated by between both of the shows, 20,000 people.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yay.
That is awesome. Oh, man. Let's get into it. We've got 6 matches to go through. Let's see. We've got the Super Click. It's a 6-man tag match. Before we get into that, Wendy says, still weird seeing him in AEW, but I do hope AEW doesn't become WCW. I think that it's a good point, Wendy, and I think that let's see, what WCW kind of did, better contracts than WWF at the time. I mean, I'll agree with the contracts that they want to be careful not to like get too caught up with like overspending and then get to the point where like they're not making enough profit and now they're going to have to cut people or whatever. I hope it never gets to that. I think that there's a lot of lessons that AEW can take from the downfall of WCW to prevent that from repeating itself. They're gonna, I think particularly like making sure that the inmates don't run the asylum as far as the way booking goes. Booking kind of makes sense, and we'll see where it goes. I think it's basically going to come down to how much Shad Khan, Tony Khan's father, is willing to invest money-wise into
Tony
this.
has some money too, because remember, Tony said he was investing his own money, especially with that video game.
Yes, but
I mean, we're almost like in the.
A lot of it's come from Shad Khan. It's his father.
That's true, but he's worth $21 billion. He'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. Let's see. But I don't think that I'm not too worried about it. I think AEW will flourish, and I think it's a good thing for everyone that they exist. But let's go back into this. We've got the Super Click, Adam Cole and the Young Bucks, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, going up against Christian Cage and the Jurassic Express of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Dana, who you got in this one? You are muted. Sorry, you're muted. Let's try this again.
Nope.
There we go.
Can you hear me? Yay. In regards to this, we were doing the Luchasaurus people, right?
Mhm.
So who? Sorry, my
So
computer.
it's
Say
Jungle
that
Boy
again.
Luchasaurus and
That's-
Christian Cage against Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. That's what we got.
Oh God, yeah. Here's the thing. I'm tired of Young Bucks. I'm just tired. I mean,
Yes.
they're great. They're wonderful. Yay. I'm tired of the Young Bucks.
Yes.
But it makes it weird because everyone's rooting for Adam Cole, and then everyone loves Christian Cage. But then you have Jurassic Express, and like everyone loves them more. And remember, they're pushing Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
When they're pushing him to do great things, and especially when you have someone like CM Punk who's like, I want to wrestle you. So you know that this is going to be something that's a staying thing. The Young Bucks don't need to win. It makes it weird because you have the Young Bucks don't need to win, but yet you want to see Adam Cole win. You know, I mean, that would, solidify him being there. And then you have Jurassic Express where you want to see them win in the way how they're pushing everything. So it makes it really hard for me to choose one side against the other side. But I do feel that Adam Cole, Christian Cage, Adam Cole, Christian Cage, Young Bucks will do something nefarious. I mean, they're BTE, so they're gonna probably win, but it won't be clean. It'll be through some nefarious way and really bad outfits.
Yeah. I agree with you on that as well. I would love to see Christian Cage and Jurassic Express win. Like Jurassic Express, I feel like they're a team that I wanted to see win the tag belts a long time ago. I wanted them to push them to the moon and all that, and it seemed that they always just come just short. Um, what a big win it would be if they beat the Super Click, but I feel that Adam Cole is such an important signing that they need him to build some wins. They need to build him up. And the Young Bucks, of course, they just lost the tag belts. They need to remind the people that they're still a threat as well. And of course, they're going to cheat because they're the elite. That's what they do. So I think that's what's going to come down to. You probably have Brandon Cutler and oh my God, Michael something. The other guy. Oh my God.
I know who you're talking about. I'm blinking.
Yeah, I don't want to butcher his name, but it is Michael Nakazawa. Yes, I had to look that up. I'm embarrassed about that, but yeah, they're gonna definitely cheat. They're gonna get involved and help the Super Click win because that's what they do. So I think that's what we're gonna see happen. Poor Jurassic Express. Yeah, that's so annoying, but that's the thing.
Wendy says that she likes the Young Bucks and the others, but she wants Jurassic Express to win.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on. I think we're both with you on that. We'd like to see Jurassic Express wins, but that's not. Nakazawa is the name. Yep. That is not in the cards. I don't think. Let's see. We've got a singles match between Anna Jay and Penelope Ford. Anna Jay. That's all I have to say.
Everyone I think Anna Jay as well. Yeah, I'm gonna just have to go with Anna Jay and be silent.
Yeah, my apologies to any fans of Anna Jay and Penelope Ford. They're both as well up and coming parts of the women's division. I'm just not interested in this match, so I apologize.
Nice.
It's just I'm not. I hope someday I will be interested in their matches, but that's not where I'm at right now. I'm sorry. Let's move on. But I'm glad they're on the card. I could see that they are the only women's match at Rampage. So we need women's wrestling. We need representation on there. glad they're on the card. I'm just otherwise not interested in the match.
Tony Khan said he's working on it.
Yeah. Well,
So,
let's
chop.
see it. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's what it is.
Okay, the man gave us Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole and CM Punk. I think he's doing good being bang.
Yes. We've got a 8-man tag team match featuring the Lucha Brothers and Santana and Ortiz. They're going to go against the Hardy Family Office, which is Private Party and the Butcher and the Blade. You've got Matt Hardy and the Bunny at ringside. 8-man tag match. I will go with the Lucha Brothers and Santana and Ortiz. I think that Lucha Brothers, tag team champions. It's a big win for them. Santana and Ortiz, they're someone that I really want to see get a run with the tag belts. I love them as a tag team. That's an exciting pair of tag teams right there. It's going to be fun to see. I want them to win, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to win. And don't forget that Santana and Ortiz are from New York, and this is, they're in Queens, so it's practically their backyard. So I think it'll be huge for them to get the win. What do you think?
I think you nailed it. I mean, it is their hometown, and then you're coming across from that really amazing match with the Luchas, with the oh my gosh, I blinked their names. The Lucha Brothers, sorry.
Lucha Brothers, yeah.
So, they're coming back from that really great match. I think it would just be kind of meh if they lost now. And then you have in New York City, and AEW is not like other companies where they embrace their hometown hero. So, it's easily going to be them. But fantasy booking, Jeff Hardy runs in the ring.
Jeff Hardy or Matt Hardy?
Jeff. I said fantasy booking.
Goodness.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
That would be hilarious. I'd be like,
what is he doing? You're like, I quit.
But would he come as Jeff Hardy, or would he be the Willow?
The Willow.
Oh, the Willow. Oh, yeah.
It has to be the Willows.
That just adds to it. Oh, man. That would be something. But okay, you got the Lucha Brothers and Santana. Okay, so we're in agreement there. Sweet. We got CM Punk going up against Powerhouse Hobbs. I'm gonna let you go first on this one.
Oh, Hobbs destroyed him last week.
He did.
He was dead. And I love that face he made. He was just like, because he was dead.
Punk felt that. He felt it.
He was like, oh, God, I should have never came back.
Yeah.
But, and he just flipped them over like it was nothing. And AEW's tables don't break, which is even more painful. But
I am the table.
I am the table. I think Ice Cream Bar wins, obviously. But other than Ice Cream Bar, I would have to go with Hobbs. I don't know. I don't want CM Punk to just keep winning. But my goodness, Hobbs is such a powerhouse that I just want CM Punk to be alive. So I'm gonna have to, but it wouldn't make any sense for him to lose to Hobbs. And the more I think about it, so I do see CM Punk winning, but like barely. Like he's hanging on, and then the ambulance comes, and he's on life support.
Yeah, I think that for Punk to win, it's got to be something where his, Team Taz teammates do a little bit too much. They try to get cute and costing Hobbs the match. Like, Punk's a legend, but Powerhouse Hobbs has a big size advantage on him, and it's not very believable to me that in a one-on-one that Punk would win without being crafty. He has to have a little bit of luck on his side, and I think that's the thing they need to do. Where it's like it needs to be a kind of a close shave, where you could see a scenario where Hobbs would have won if Team Taz hadn't gotten involved, that kind of a thing. But I think that Punk will win, and should win, because, again, much like Adam Cole, he's a big deal, and you need to kind of remind people, because remember, he's not wrestled in the last 7 years up until All Out. And so you got a whole generation of fans who haven't really seen Punk wrestle live. And so this is a chance to kind of get a reminder of how good he is. But, I'd say Punk wins, but I hope that they do well by Hobbs. I know that that our esteemed colleague Richard Bailey Jr. is also a big fan of Hobbs, and I know that in chats he's saying, like, there's no way that Punk should lose to Hobbs and everything like that, that Hobbs should lose to Punk. He's so much bigger and all that, and he makes some good points. But at the same time, it's CM Punk. But
at the same time, I wouldn't be upset if he lost. I just hope they don't do this as a Brock Lesnar kind of thing.
I don't think they will. The thing with Hobbs is that, like, are they making him like they haven't made him like the top guy out of Team Taz? It's Ricky Starks is that guy.
Mm-hmm.
If they were building up Hobbs to be that guy, I could see it. But Hobbs is like a henchman, a secondary guy. They're still working on him. You know what I mean? And this is going to be like another case of where Hobbs gets the rub by virtue of being in the match with Punk. I just hope that it's not too ridiculous of a finish, but we'll see. We'll see. Like I have some hope for Hobbs that he's going to be a big deal within the next couple of years. But we'll see where they go with that. Let's see. I'm not sure what the main event's going to be, so I'm going to go with what my most anticipated match is, and I'm going to save that for the end. For now, we've got 2 more matches left to go in these predictions. We're going to go with the Inner Circle versus the Men of the Year. The Inner Circle's consisting of – actually, before I continue, Dana, where'd you go? Oh, muted.
I am here.
Okay.
My power cord.
We didn't lose you.
Nope, my power cord ran away.
Okay. I'm glad you caught it. Chris Jericho and Jake Hager will be representing the Inner Circle in a tag match against Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, with noted shit talker Dan Lambert accompanying them. Goodness. I'll go with the Inner Circle on this one. I'll go with the Inner Circle on this one. I don't know what to make of this team of Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. I like them both individually. I don't know if I like them as a team. I feel like it's a step backwards for both of them. But Jericho and Hager, I think they win. What do you think?
I think that Lambert goes on the unemployment line.
Ouch.
I don't know why he's here. I don't know what the purpose is. It doesn't make any sense to constantly have a character who's downgrading the property. Like
another Zeb Coulter type of guy. And it's like talking up these MMA guys that are with them that we don't actually see compete. They just kind of linger in the background. I mean, I'm sure they've got something planned for them.
Raw underground.
But in the meantime, I mean, that's the thing that's weird about this is that Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page are experienced pro wrestlers. They're very talented men, and they should be at the forefront of this. And I can't be bothered to care about them because you've got these MMA guys that are so much bigger that it's like I'm more curious of what they're going to do. I'm interested when they're going to appear, when they're going to have matches, and what they're going to do. So Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page are just kind of filler. which it should not be the case. But that's how it feels to me. So, again, like I'm high on both of them, but not as a team. So, Jericho, I hope they pull the plug on this whole thing.
They pull the plug on the whole gimmick.
Yeah,
it doesn't work. It takes up too much time. Like, I feel that if we cut that whole Lambert situation out, we could have had a longer match between Moxley and Suzuki.
That's main event. I mean, I hope it's the main event. Suzuki-gun of Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer against Moxley and Kingston. That's a lights out match. I'm not sure what a lights out match consists of. Did you hear?
I don't know, but I thought it was more like, remember when back then WWF had like the basement matches?
Oh, like the boiler room matches?
Remember the boiler room match with Mick Foley and someone else? I can't remember who it was. Was it Undertaker?
Undertaker, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I thought. Then I thought it might be something like similar to Britt Baker, and I'm blinking on the name, but that match that she had, the big bloody one.
Oh yeah. That was what did she wrestle in that one?
Cheetah?
Hikaru Shida?
Yeah, was it Cheetah?
I think it might have been.
I don't really know.
Because I want to say that it was for the women's championship.
Yeah.
And Cheetah retained, but Britt Baker would play it up. It was either that or it was against, who I think it was against? I think it was against Thunder Rosa.
Okay. So basically, Thunder Rosa, that was it. My goodness, that was a match. That's when like Tony Khan came and was like crying. He was like, "This is amazing, thank you."
Yeah.
But Lights Out is described as an unsanctioned match that happens when the show ends. So basically, that Britt Baker Thunder Rosa match ended, and so was the barbed wire match that Moxley had. That was unsanctioned. This is not on actual TV, but we're gonna just keep rolling the camera.
The one that ended in you're talking about the barbed wire with him and Kenny Omega?
Yeah, that
was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. So I think when they sprinkle in once in a while doing that, I don't want to see like death matches every day. Right. But I think that either way, this is going to be an amazing match. They will go completely all out, and at the end, we're going to get Suzuki. I hope. Like, they're both all bloodied and battered. Like, the lights literally go out. Everyone's all bloodied and battered when it comes up. And then he's just standing over their bodies like, haha. Because he really did not, if you look at it overall, he didn't have a great run. We know what he's capable of. Like, he murders people. It's like, you don't want him near you. He will kill you. But with AEW, was like, oh, okay, he's just a wrestler from New Japan. He didn't come across as a big threat. They did a great job selling it. But when it came to the actual match and the matches, it just wasn't like, oh, this is a threat now. You're dead. But we all know what he can do. So I need that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I remember because I was totally engrossed in the summer of Moxley 2 years ago, and all the stuff that he was doing over there in New Japan. And I remember him having the match with Suzuki, and I want to say maybe that was early 2020. He had a match with him, and it was an awesome match. Very brutal, very physical. And Moxley won, but it was one of those things where it wouldn't surprise me if Suzuki was the one that came out victorious. Suzuki's a legend over there. Here in AEW, when they had their match, there was no doubt in my mind that Moxley was winning that match.
Right.
Now when you have this tag match, you have to have Suzuki win this. You have to have him win it because Moxley's been running over every Japanese wrestlers that come in, and it's like you can't just have every New Japan guy come in and job to Moxley. I love Moxley. He's my favorite wrestler in the world. But at some point, there's got to be this thing where it's like it's not always going to come easy. You're not always going to get that W. And Lance Archer has the feel of a guy who is like a foil to Moxley. As you know, Archer was the one that beat Moxley for the New Japan's United States Championship, and it would make so much sense that you have Archer and Suzuki win this match against Moxley and Kingston. It would just be like they would just out physical them, and it would take people that are not familiar with Suzuki, and it would kind of wake up that guy's a badass. He should be feared, even though he's in his 50s. He can still wreck people, and he can still go. And it's always a treat when he's in a match. So, yeah, I think and here's the thing again, lights out, which is unsanctioned. So even if Moxley and Kingston lose, it officially doesn't count. You know what I mean? So you protect them in that regard. So yeah, I think that just makes the most sense. That would be a great way to close out an awesome 2 nights of wrestling over there at the Arthur Ashe Stadium. I cannot wait for this. This is so awesome.
I love your excitement. I rarely see you get excited.
No, I don't. I don't always get excited, even for pay-per-views. But and I told you, but before we went on the air, that that I didn't even really look at the card until we started the show. I was just kind of winging it with these predictions. I knew about a couple of the matches, like Kenny Omega versus Danielson. That was something I was pumped for. But looking over all this, it's this is great, and yeah, I can't wait for it. And I can't believe they're giving this to us for free. I mean, we'll get commercial interruptions, I bet, which sucks, but you take what you can get. But yeah, no, it should be a lot of fun, and that's pretty much my thoughts on Grand Slam. Did you have any thoughts that you want to add?
No, I think it's going to be a great weekend. Well, not weekend, week. We had a whole week of AEW wrestling that people are excited for, which is really good for a company that's only, 3 years old? Come October, it's 3 years old.
It's it was
October 6th, it debuted.
Well, you had all in, and I think that was
the unofficial official. That was we're testing the waters. There's anyone interested in this?
That was where this all kind of started, and that was 2018, I believe, and it wasn't until early 2019 that AEW was announced. So if you go from that point, it was January 2019. It will be 3 years in this coming January. It's pretty wild how far it's come in that time. And I'm excited. I'm excited for it. What was I going to say? I mean, I probably know the answers, but are you planning on going to any of those shows? I mean, again, it's right in your backyard.
It is in my backyard, but it's expensive. Remember, they made it when the tickets are ridiculous. So
yeah.
I'm rooting from the sidelines with a mask on.
Yeah.
But Wendy does say, I hope the momentum keeps going.
Oh, it will. It will. It's only going to get better from here. And we may or may not do a Extreme Rules prediction show. All depends on how we feel.
He's excited. Don't let him. He's lying. Look at that excitement bubbling up to the surface.
I don't know if I'll have the energy. I'll be so drained from these 4 hours of amazing action that will I have the stamina to do a prediction show for Extreme Rules? Extreme Rules.
Extreme.
I haven't looked at the card yet, but we'll see. We'll get back to you on that. But before we close out the show, I believe we have one more announcement to make.
We have an uno announcemento. due to some really good weird luck, we have an interview with Brandy and Cody and Tony Khan talking about the creation of AEW and the creation of Rhodes to the Top. That will be dropping next Tuesday. So we have that, and then we'll have. It's weird how it's going to be. It's two different interviews with Brandy and Cody. So we have that, and then there's Tony Khan. So we have two separate interviews. One Rhodes to the Top. One is about the creation of AEW. So that should be exciting. That's all coming out tomorrow. I have to go to they're doing a press conference on what is today, Thursday. So obviously everyone's going to be.
Well, it's going to be Wednesday in like a few minutes, but yeah.
In a few minutes, it'll be Wednesday our time. The press conference is on a Thursday. So it's after the whole Rampage situation. Well, not Rampage, Dynamite situation. Yeah. So, that is something that I'm like, what? It's been hard, but we got it.
That's amazing. That you're definitely not going to want to miss those interviews. That's a great scoop there. Wow. So, yeah, everyone, check out the Koalition for more interviews such as this from Dana. And, we've got these prediction shows where we like to have fun and talk some smack and whatever. And I think that's it for today's show. Dana, do you have any other closing comments to make?
No, other than that, it's going to be a really great show. And Wendy's asking how. It's through a lot of hard work. You have to make the right connections. But shout out to Warner Media for that.
It's not just what you know, it's who you know. Yeah.
Yeah, very true.
Exactly.
So, I'm excited for what AEW has in store for us. And remember, Tony Khan teased before, this is just like the beginning of the surprises. There's a lot more in store, so I'm excited.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if like, again, we got Punk and Cole and Danielson all in short succession. And Ruby, and, just like, and then we had Malakai Black and Christian Cage, just so many great additions in such a short period of time. And there's going to be more Kevin Steen, coming.
January.
Yes. And, man, it's gonna be a great ride that we're all gonna be part of. So definitely stay tuned in to Koalition for more great content, and thank you all for watching and listening. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Peace.